Now it can get to this time of year where quarter one is nearly done of 2025. And what then happens is we start thinking about where did we, where have we landed? How is it the beginning of the year? How have we just hit quarter one? And so there's so much that comes from that. And what I'm seeing at the moment now, when I'm recording, it's the end of Feb. And what I'm seeing is lots of questions around where are our leads coming from? How many leads have we got coming in? What are we doing with them? It's very much around processes. And then it's around expectations of salespeople. And so there's a difference between what I think a lot of us that have been in the industry for a long time, or a lot of people that have been selling or that have come up through different generations of selling. I'm showing my age there, but what I mean by that is that we've had to do it all before we had AI, before we had tools, before we had Sales Navigator. We've gone through the yellow pages, we've gone through, Google, we've gone through, phone and having to Google to try and find email. And now we have something like Lucia or Zoom Info. So we've done it all before all of that. And so if you're of that age, you've been there. Now, that is not to mean that therefore you're going to have the best process and the best strategy and the best approach. But whenever I go into an organization, we talk about needing leads, I look at so many different areas and I look at what do you mean by a lead? And when you say a lead, is that, do you want that an opportunity? Do you want that to go into your pipeline? Do you mean a prospect, or do you mean a deal? And there's so many different terms that every different business uses. So it's really clear to create a formality around what you're calling what. And I've definitely talked about that before, and that is not the topic of today. But what I want the topic of today to be around is that if you've got a team, or if this is you, that the expectation is there to do prospecting, the expectation is there to go out and have conversations, is that for me, the way my brain works is I then just go, okay, well, I'm going to go through everyone that lost in the last 3, 6, 12 months. I'm then going to go through everyone that's recently connected with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to go through a replication of ideal clients. Then I'm going to call one day. I'm going to email the next day. I'm going to LinkedIn the day after. And within a week, I can fill up a whole, meetings, get lots of opportunities back on the burner, clarify, update, park some things, build some activities for future dates. I can do all of that. But your team, or you, if does not come naturally, will find that very challenging. And without support to enable them to go through that process and do it and really have a clear structure, it's going to be very difficult for you to achieve those results as a sales leader, to be able to go into an organization or into your team and say, let's go, and I want you to go and hit this. Now, the common misconception is that I'm paying you this amount of money because you're a salesperson and you therefore should just be able to go and do it. And that's not always true, because if you're in a business that has been predominantly inbound leads driven with a little bit of outbound, and now you want to increase the outbound, that's going to be off kilter to what they're used to, for what that salesperson is used to, or for what you're used to. So with that, that's what I'm seeing at the moment. We're coming to end of Feb. We're looking ahead. We've got another month left. I've got organizations talking about end of financial year, which is end of June for us in Australia. And we're looking at ways we can achieve goals. I've got clients that are missing massively. I've got clients that are nearly there, but are now fearful because the conversion rate's dropped. So it's a forever moving part. You're never going to go through 1 week with the same problem as the next week and the week after, or same challenge, I should say. So what am I going to share with you today? I love to share a bit of knowledge and some value throughout these episodes. And so what I want to share with you today is looking at your pipeline and making sure that your deals page, and again, depending on what you're using, is not too full. Now, I've started off this episode talking about, we want more leads, we want to close more, we want to do this. And I'm talking about your pipeline's too full. Your pipeline is probably too full of rubbish. Okay, I said it. Rubbish. And the reason why, and what I mean by rubbish, is that it's things that are not going to close today. It's things that are not going to close this month, this quarter, this financial year, this year. You don't actually know when it's going to close. It's been in there for 297 days and you are still keeping it there. You are holding onto it with dear life. We need a better process. So I always look at having a bucket, a pot of leads. I always say bucket and it makes me sound really northern, which I am, but that's fine. So I look at my bucket of leads. I have got lots of opportunities going in. And when I talk about a bucket, I talk about your entire database. You might have 1,000 people. You might have 20,000 people. You might have 100,000 people. That bucket is where everything goes in. Now, as a salesperson, as a team, you're going to be looking in that bucket all the time. Now, the chances are you won't look in that bucket very often if your pipeline looks full. And what I want to emphasize there is looks full, because it's not full. It's not full of valid opportunities that can close this month, that can close this quarter, that can close this financial year. Now, I work with a client that's got a fantastic process. They've got open leads, that's everything. They've got lead keep in touch, and there might be something, but we haven't validated it. They've got marketing qualified and sales qualified. Sales qualified is a lead that's going to close within the next 6 months. Marketing qualified is a lead that's going to close within the next 6 to 12 months. Lead keep in touch is beyond that, or something we don't necessarily have clarity on, but they are an ideal prospect. And then open is everything else. Okay. They have a fantastic marketing engine that communicates through that. The key is ensuring that nothing stays in marketing qualified or sales qualified longer than it should do. And we're constantly validating at every single stage. Okay. So we use Pipedrive. They use HubSpot, actually, just to give you some insight. So we use Pipedrive. When I describe Pipedrive and when I describe leads and managing it, is that we have the CRM, which is the bucket of everything, and open in the term I just gave you. We've then got leads inbox, which is an ideal prospect, whether that had been an inbound or somebody I want to go after or we want the team to go after. That's going to sit in leads inbox. And that is something that we want to engage with. It's also what gets triggered from our email database when people engage, download, come to webinars, things like that. They sit in there. They get allocated with an activity to somebody. Once we identify an opportunity, and that opportunity may just be a meeting at that moment, we push it into our deals screen, and then we handle it through our deals process. If at any point we don't believe it's going to work within the next 90 days, we put it back into leads with an activity. So if you're driving and you're listening to this, you're like, whoa, I need to stop, take a pen. You can always come back to this, okay? And we will have the video on YouTube. So if you are listening on podcast, you can definitely go and check us out. Just search Your Sales Co on YouTube. When we then know what each stage stands for and what we want it to do, we then ensure the activities are attached. So we want to ensure that every single thing in our database, in our CRM, has an activity associated, whether you're a lead or whether you are a deal. If you're a deal that we've lost, it will go back into our bucket of CRM contacts with an activity associated. Every CRM is different. I'm giving you these examples so you can work out what works for you. What that now means is that I know what I'm working on, and there should only ever be, you want to be within about 80% of what's going to actually come through within your pipeline. So if at the end of the quarter, you're having to push more than 80% out, it means then that it stayed in there for too long. And you might want to do a deal review, a lost deal review. I've just recorded an episode on that. So definitely go check that out, or look out for that if it's not come out yet. And then if then from there, you then need to know more about it, you can start doing pipeline reviews and looking at how long it was in for and why. The great thing with CRMs is you get so much data, and I love data. So that's really going to help you as well to make better decisions moving forward. So if you've got too much in your pipeline, we want to get it out. We want to get it into leads. We want to get it back into the CRM bucket. And if you are marketing, we need to market accordingly. Now, when I say there's too many, is that we've got too many brain tabs open. I've talked about this a couple of times on LinkedIn. When we have too many brain tabs open, we don't look at anything else. If I go into a pipeline that's got too much, I'm constantly scanning across the pipeline to look at, have I gone through them? What were the notes? Where are we at? So imagine every time you're opening it, it's like the theory of inbox. And I haven't done this training, but I know people that have, and they've given me the insights, and I've applied it myself, which is the story of my life. So the inbox management, the rule is you only touch it once. And so what that means is that if I open the email, and this is what happens when we are all overwhelmed and we're so connected at all times, and this is talking about me, is that I'll walk into the house, I'm making dinner, and then I'll get an email and I'll check it on my watch, or I'll check it on my phone. And then if it's on my watch, it won't get read. But if it's on my phone and I open it, it's now open, and now I've read it. But I go, I'm not going to do that yet. I'll do that tomorrow. But now I've opened it and I've not done something with it. So now I need to action it. Same thing with our pipeline. We should be able to look as a view and go, right, I've got 25 leads in my pipeline, 25 prospects in my pipeline. I have got an activity associated to all. I've got X number in proposal, X number in discovery, X number in awaiting feedback, but everything's up to date. I don't need to open anything. Okay, it's all there. It's taking me 3 minutes, quick view, go into my leads. Has everything got an activity associated? Have I got notes in there. Does all the titles of the leads make sense? Then when I go into my activities, I go through everything that's in green. Nothing should ever be red. It means that it's overdue. Go in and do all my greens. And then if I have time, I can go and do more. And for organizations that want to grow more and they want more leads, then I would take other people out of your CRM contacts. So you can go and search for size of organization, names, if you can recall them, industries. You can go and find when you last spoke to people. Your CRM should give you all of that. So then you could pull another 5 or 10 of your opens, bring them into a lead inbox or into focus prospecting, and off you go. So if you want to grow, that's going to be the easiest way to do it and the simplest way to ensure that it's being tagged and processed. Anything you do on LinkedIn should be being tracked and pulled through. If you use Sales Navigator, you can link that into your CRM. We are playing with Sales Navigator. I've never loved it, but I feel like I need to just always look. And we're playing with that at the moment, but we're finding Lucia better. So we're using Lucia where we'll build lists. So all of my team have a dedicated list. We push it straight into the CRM. We attach the activities and away they go. It means then that they've always got something to come back to. And we're never left being like, oh, what shall I do next? Because there's nothing worse than procrastinating on a day when you need to be making calls and reaching out. But if you're the leader and you have a team and you don't have a process that sounds like this or looks like this in any way, shape, or form, then you have a challenge around data and processes and how you want people to work. Now, we are not perfect when it comes to data as a business, as in we are building systems. So we're actually building a custom CRM. It's something that we are currently doing in progress. It is a big task. Everyone's like, oh, great, you're going to sell it. Can we have it? I can't guarantee I'm going to sell it yet. It's something we need to build for us as a team. We're building SDR, LDR teams. And for that, we need better data. The CRMs of HubSpot and Pipedrive are not cutting it for us. We have different requirements. We have to segregate data. There's so many things that we need that you won't necessarily need as a business, but it's something that we're building and I'm very excited. So I will definitely share more on that. But the reason why we're doing that is that we've tried all of the things that are on the shelf for our team. We've tried 4 or 5 different things now, and it's making our team's lives more difficult. And you never want to make a salesperson's life difficult because they have a challenging day as it is enough. They are sensitive beings. When I say they, me, I'm a salesperson. We are sensitive beings and we need support. We need process. We need guidance. We need to know where the focus needs to be. And unless you've got somebody that has got that built into them and it's natural, you need to give them more support around that. Build a system, build a process, build clarity. Now, if you're looking to generate more of those leads, and I gave you ideas before around reignite, replicate, LinkedIn, Lucia searches, all of those things, I would choose 1 per month and go after that. You could do 1 per week. It depends on how adaptable your team are. But if you overwhelm them, they might drop some of their leads or some of the prospects they're working with that are hot, and you might then regret that. And then you'll go, well, it's not worth prospecting because we're going to, it's going to impact here. And that's not always the case, but it is things to bear in mind. And the bigger the team, the more challenging it's going to be. Having a system in place will definitely help you. This is also what we do for our clients. So we help them build out maps. We help them build out processes, communication, show how to do different prospecting within different streams. So whether you want to go super cold and grab a list off Lucia, whether you want to leverage messaging on LinkedIn, whether you want to do email, call, or whether you want to do all of the above and have a really clear process to fulfill your prospecting goals, then definitely reach out to us. I'll make sure there is a link in the show notes and so you can find out more. I love chatting to businesses and finding out what your challenges are. I can draw on the whiteboard and give you a map of what it will look like. So please reach out if you've got any questions about this topic specifically. It is hot in the market right now across Australia and also the UK where our clients are. And I will keep sharing updates and ideas and tips as we go. But make sure you've got a plan, make sure there is systems and processes around it, and make sure the team are across it. Ensure your KPIs are in and that there is a plan in place for how they are going to get there and what they need to do. And then you can manage it from that process rather than let's just hope they're going to go out and know what to do and approach it in the right way. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I hope that was helpful. I think it was the biggest 15 minutes of your week. If you listen to this, make sure you take notes, come back, maybe transcribe me, and then you can get some notes in there as well. But good luck with your sales. Have a fantastic week ahead. Happy selling.